So the masculine expression of fear is anger, and the feminine expression of fear is sadness. And so that's why if you sit with any feeling and you notice just that top layer of what you're feeling is irritation or anger or frustration, right? All in that same category of anger. That has to do with feeling a subconscious part of your being is locked into a space of thinking it is completely and feeling like it's knowing it's completely powerless to change a bad situation or to get out of something, and that creates that state of powerlessness. Inside that state of powerlessness is basically fear that you can't get out of something, fear that and that just has a million permutations, like many ways of expressing itself in your mind and in your world. So I'll just keep it general like that. The feminine expression of fear is going to be sadness. It's a softer feeling. It doesn't have that edge to it. It doesn't have that fight to it. It has a give up to it. But it still has that same, if you go inside that, there's still a fear. I'm never going to be loved. I'm always going to be alone. So, whereas anger is the masculine manifestation of the fear message that says, I have no control over my life, I have no power to create, which is the masculine, the sun. The feminine side is sadness, and that manifests as a slower, softer feeling, a giving up feeling, even where you just want to lie face down, whereas anger makes you want to charge straight forward. So the feminine side obviously is the moon, and underneath both of these qualities, so whether you're female or male, obviously we both have both. Underneath both of these qualities is fear itself. Is fear itself. And so, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Sort of, yes, but not really. We don't have to fear itself. But I get where he was going with that. Because that will create a manifestation of anger and resistance and disempowerment, or what was the other? Of the sadness and loneliness and separation. So on the masculine side you have the disempowerment, on the feminine side you have separation. The female wants to connect, wants to nurture, that's oxytocin, right? The male wants to create, that's the sun. That's more dopamine, that's more go. Or adrenaline. So what do we do, right? How do we get through this barrier that keeps you stuck right in your life where you are? How do you get past that? Because this is all subconscious stuff. This is deep in your psyche. This is stuff that's running. There's a program that's running. It's running all the time. This manifestation of the masculine, disempowered experience that you had where you were overpowered. And then the other side where you were abandoned or left. We all have both of these in some way. In some way, we were all experienced something in our life, in our body, which then in our psyche told us that we didn't have power. And then we also experienced something from like the feminine one, the moon one, is a taking away. Whereas the masculine disempowerment experience is an incoming boundary violation. So there's an outgoing or a boundary violation of separation where when we needed a connection, or it could even be embarrassment, and that creates a separation and disempowerment. That's why humiliation is one of the worst human emotions to experience, because it's both. You get angry and then you're also afraid of, that you won't have your tribe, right? That you'll be ostracized from the tribe. So look into that. If you've experienced humiliation in your childhood, bingo, go right to that one. That's going to be a super potent, influential moment of your childhood experience where your beliefs changed right in that moment. It was like, I'm never doing this again. There's these two, right? There's the masculine experience of a incoming boundary violation where we felt disempowered, causing resentment and rage or terror that's caused from the disempowerment. And then there's the abandonment from the feminine side of making us feel and believe that we're separate. And both of those are super painful to try to function as adults, having those beliefs, having those thoughts and feelings inside those energetic bodies inside our being, of the masculine and feminine manifesting as aspects of fear that are just like keep getting regurgitated up into our subconscious. Why? So that we can be with the fear. So this is where it comes to being with the fear, you know? And it's a horrible thing to have to be with, but if you can understand that, and so I'm going to give you one exercise to do at the end of them. I'm going to give you an exercise to do that's going to help you gently kind of work with this in a non-like scary way. But before that, I just want to say, if you take scared and you realize that that fear is causing disempowerment, I'm not the creator of my life, and separation and loneliness, I'm all by myself. Those are both not true. Those are both in the universal principles of things, not how it is. But it really, really feels that way, and we're trying to recover that sense that we have that. One thing that can help bridge that is if you turn scared into sacred. You see what I did there? You shift the C and the A. I don't know what that means, but it just kind of like has been on my mind for a while now. This sacred scared. If scared itself, if you can find the sacred in you, not in the fear, find the sacredness in you while you're holding space for that part of you that's scared, then that might start to shift things and move the rocks a little bit out of the stuckness that you're experiencing in your life right now. So here's the exercise before it gets dark. The exercise is to put on some music and start to put the pen in your non-dominant hand and draw. And just do this for 5 minutes. Nobody likes to do exercise at the end of a video. But pause the video right now, grab a piece of paper and a pen, and then put on some music and start to just draw, but right on the top of the paper, what am I feeling? Because if you look right at your feelings, they might try to, there's a habit of, there's a layer on top of those feelings that our consciousness creates to keep us from them. So this is kind of a backdoor in to what you're feeling. And you can kind of like, just think of it as like, when you were a kid and you look out the window while you're going on a road trip with your family. It's like that. It's that kind of feeling of like spacing out the window and having your thoughts. So you can listen to some music and then just start to draw and see what comes up. And then, if you can work with that energy that's, find that little person in you, take that moment to just land in there for a couple of seconds, that person in you that's having a feeling, and you could disconnect yourself from them and hold that space for that part of you. This is another way to kind of like go through the side door without having to like look in their face and scare yourself away from yourself. I hope that helps. All right, talk to you later.